everyone. Thank you for making it here today. I'm an introvert myself. I'm the person behind Bluish, and you may have heard that we recently pitched on Dragon's Den. I wanted to share 3 things that I've learned with you in this journey of starting and building Bluish, and communicating our story on social media and building that brand. So the first thing is be genuine. Everyone says that. It sounds like just general social media advice. But for an introvert, that is so true. It really hits the core. And this is why. Preparing each post, whether it be just like a simple post or a story or a write-up for my newsletter or for my website, even when I was writing my pitch on Dragon's Den, doing those activities zapped enough energy from me. There was enough of second guessing and self-doubt that I had to battle as I was preparing. If I had to impersonate a different person, like pretend I have a different persona as I'm writing these pieces, telling people about Bluish, it would have just taken all of my energy. I don't think anyone, even for people with high energy, to have enough energy to do that. But for an introvert, it is just all the more important to really use your energy and invest in the right places. Fabricating your personality, thinking that my introversion will work against me, that I need to be very extroverted because this is how I see other people do it online, that's just not true, and it will at the end of the day net out your energy to a point where you just don't have it in you to keep it up anymore. Because we're not just talking about one post, we're not just talking about one newsletter or one pitch even. We're talking about a constant and consistent communication of your story and your brand. So if every time it takes up so much energy of yours to keep up that persona, there's just nothing left at the end of the day to consistently communicate that message anymore. Pretend you're talking to a friend who already likes you. So this is something that I do whenever I need to prepare a post on social media or again write a piece of writing. I think about the friend who would read it and be supportive. I think about the handful of people I've met on Instagram who I've connected with. They've been supportive. We get each other, and those are the people I picture myself posting to every time I do it. I have a real problem recognizing my own achievements and talking about them. I hate that feeling of, it's so vain, I'm seeking attention, I'm looking for people to applaud me, to congratulate me, and especially if it's not your first time talking about it. My story, I've had to repeat it many, many, many times because it's such an integral part of our business. But because it's so personal, sometimes it does feel like, it's this again. But just think your closest friends or people who are supportive of you would not think of you that way. And another benefit of thinking about that friend is that it helps you personalize your post. You're not talking to thin air. You're not talking to strangers. You're not talking to however million users there are on Instagram. The topic of today is not about, how to increase your social media following. I'm not an expert at that. But when you're picturing yourself talking to just 5 of your friends, and if nobody else joins in, nobody cares what you just said. Who cares? Who cares? An important part of social media strategy, I would think, is consistency. Again, I'm not an expert, but consistency is the one thing that I've really noticed and could stand by works. So whatever your message is, be consistent. But as an introvert, if we're so uncomfortable with posting because there is this fear that's holding me back, then how can we be consistent? That's what I'm trying to say. Picture yourself talking to just 5 of your good friends on Instagram, and that will help you get over that hurdle of not wanting to post, in fear of what you say being misunderstood, and dropping in your consistency. Write what you think and read what you write. Why is this so important? Sometimes I find as an introvert, I have this fear of, oh gosh, I don't know if my thoughts will be perceived accurately, and I don't really know how to salvage that. So we really want to test that thought out with our own ears objectively. It's impossible to guess or control how other people will perceive what you say or post on social media, or when, in my case, when you're pitching to the dragons, you really can't control how they perceive what you say. But one of the ways to combat that question and that challenge is to write it down and then read it out loud so that you hear your own words through your ears. Then your brain can objectively as possible assess what you're hearing and see if that matches up with what you're trying to say. And another benefit, a very important one of doing this, is you can then cut out any unnecessary words. This was especially important for me when I was preparing for my pitch. So one of my biggest fears while preparing for it was, am I going to forget my next line? When the cameras are rolling and I prepared this video to play at the same time as my narration that goes along with it, what if I forget a line? What if I skip a beat? And the whole thing just falls apart. For introverts, it's difficult enough to be in that social setting and to say all of those things. So if you could cut out any fluff and reduce just the number of words that you need to say in totality so that you could get it done and get out of there ASAP, that is a win. On a more positive note, on the receiving end, listening to a concise message that has a point is good for everyone. It will be received better, it will be digested better, and it will help you look more confident too.